episode of Chatty Broads with Bekah and Jess.
Well, hello. Hello, Becca.
Hi.
Looking absolutely fab in this top.
Thank you. Oh my God. Yeah.
Talk about this because you posted it on Instagram, a new Good Alma piece. And I'm like, if you don't get this to me ASAP.
I have one in my car. I have two in
then
my car.
we're
So I'll
really
give you
over.
one. Yeah, it's so funny because I was like, oh my gosh, I meant to actually bring on. I'm like, oh, I bet Jess would love to wear this as like a scarf and I'll wear it as a top at the same time. But then I didn't think about it. It's just like a cute little 100% silk, luxurious silky silk scarf.
It's so cute.
And it's got this bird print all over it that Andrew, who, you know, popped onto our show, he hand painted all of the bird designs. And yeah. And so it's kind of fun because this is the first piece. Like, we're just having a fun, loose, like, bird watchers club theme. And there's going to be a couple other, like, sweaters and sweatshirts. One of the sweaters has this cute quail on it.
Oh my gosh.
But what's fun about the scarf, too, if you're
collection.
wearing it like this, is that there's a different bird in every corner. So you can wear the top, you know, like you can wear like a top in 4 different ways. You can
Right,
have
and it doesn't look like a
hummingbird or a
like a-
blue jay. Well, you can just
so
showcase whatever bird you want to showcase. So
You
today
can
I wanted
switch it up, a different bird a day,
today
baby.
I wanted to showcase the quail. So anyway, yeah.
Yes, I love
Go
a scarf.
check it out. Good
so.
Alma. Yeah. Today I'm excited about this episode.
I know. We wanted to answer questions from the broads about kind of what's happening. You know, how maybe certain whys, if we didn't answer them in last Tuesday's episode,
Yeah.
what's coming, all of that. I have to tell you first,
Yeah, tell me.
I, been a little bit of an emotional basket case. The day before we dropped the episode, and I was like going through it or whatever, and I was getting teary listening to certain parts of the episode and feeling emotional, and Ember was doing her little homework next to me, and she looked at me and she's like, what are you upset about? Are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm just feeling emotional. I'm feeling a little bit sad, and I'm feeling a little bit nervous, and all sorts of emotions because, Mommy and Auntie Becca were wrapping up the podcast. And so I'm feeling, a little sad about that, and then like nervous about new beginnings. And Ember goes, I know that feeling. And I'm like, do you? Like, how do you know that feeling? And she's like, well, when I was ending kindergarten, I was really sad because I really was going to miss my teacher because I love my teacher. So I was really sad that I was going to have to leave my teacher. And I was really nervous because starting first grade is really scary, and I didn't know about the homework. And I also didn't know if I was going to like my teacher. She's like, but then I started first grade and I love my teacher, and I still got to hang out with my friends from kindergarten, and I'm learning all sorts of new things. She's like, and I get to see my kindergarten teacher all the time at school. So I was really scared, but it was really good, and I'm really happy. And that just like made my heart just break and explode. I'm like, oh my God, that is an absolute parallel.
Yeah.
An absolute parallel. And her just little spirit was like, yeah, I understand.
It's going to be fine.
And it made me think about how like that's just life, and how this is just like such a
always transitions,
and how they're sad and scary and full of emotion, but then with like communication and all these, there can be all these new beautiful experiences on the other side.
Definitely.
And I was like, out of the mouths of babes, baby. Out of the mouths of babes.
That's so sweet. Yeah, it's funny because I don't think it's really like set in for me at all. Like, I don't actually have like a lot of emotion coming up. Like, I don't think it's quite hit me, especially because we've been like slowly talking about everything. And I think that, like I was saying last episode, I just feel so much relief from anxiety of things between us. Like, just, yeah. I was feeling so much of that, and so I just feel so much relief of like, wow, I'm so happy with the way that this transition has been going so far. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna set in until like
a few weeks out.
Yeah, or until like we're not recording every week together. Like I imagine like the first Wednesday where I'm like, oh, what am I doing?
No,
I'm not
that's going to feel
today.
really weird.
Yeah,
that's going to feel really weird.
And even like you, it's like this routine. You know, it's like
you're like you got your schedule. This is what we do. You watch this, you plan this, you record here, edit here. I mean, like, yeah.
And I know you guys will be continuing on into your show, but with ad copy and like prep and all that, it's just going to be a completely different, different shift.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, as far as like how many episodes a week, I'm like, we'll see if we're going to do.
Still, it's not like you're going to be doing 3 anytime soon.
No,
like
1 or 2. Yes, not 3.
Yeah. If you did do 2 episodes a week, what would you do? Oh, second, would you just, talk about that? I'm sure people have that question.
Yeah, so I don't know if I made this clear because I think a lot of people were asking, sending me messages about it from the last episode. So the plan is that after we put out our final episode of Chatty Broads, that Evan and I are going to start our podcast either that next week or maybe 1 week break in between, but it will be either immediately that next week or the following week. And we're going to be doing reality TV recapping. So, maybe we'll do Love is Blind. It depends on what's coming up around that season.
Yeah.
Doing The Bachelor, all that stuff. But as far as a second episode of the week goes, I'm excited to be like having conversations with my husband in this and kind of see what comes from that. So obviously like conversations about relationships and those dynamics, potentially guests specifically just focused in on relationships, maybe different people from reality TV and what's going on with them and breakups, but definitely focused on that since, him and I were kind of dating.
You guys are a thing.
Yeah, but but it's also like that's the plan of what we're going to focus in on. But at the same time, we both want to be kind of open to like what happens. And as we start recording together, like we're focusing on the reality TV recaps of everything. But if all of a sudden there's a different feel of like, oh, this feels right while we're recording together, maybe moving into that space more. So we're open. We're open to that.
Do you have an idea of what show you'll be recapping? Because that's like in 6 to 8 weeks.
I believe Love is Blind will be airing season 3 around that time. So I think we're going to be doing Love is Blind.
Did you watch season 2?
I know I have to watch it now. I'm like, I got to watch it. I didn't watch it either. I loved the first season.
I heard Love is Blind season 2 was crazy.
I heard that too. And I remember there was so much drama coming out of it. Because now they have the Love is Blind After the Altar. But we're like, maybe if there's a new Real Housewives, Too Hot to Handle.
There is Salt Lake City season 3
Salt Lake
starting.
City.
Like
I love with every bone in my body Love Island UK. Like that's one, and that is Evan's like favorite reality TV show. He's obsessed. The man will binge like no other. But there is an episode every day. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm quite able to commit to watching all those episodes.
How long does that go? Like, how long do they do an episode every day for how many weeks?
Like same length as The Bachelor.
So they have like
there's like 56 episodes.
And how
long? I guess maybe it's not as long. Maybe it's like a month or 5 weeks or something like that.
But there's like there's like 20 to 30 episodes.
Oh, like 50.
How long is each one?
An hour, I believe. And the thing that's so great about Love Island is that because they're putting out, by the way, the production team on this, can you imagine?
No.
Because it's happening, the UK ones are happening live because people are voting while they're in the villa about like who they want to send in, who they want to kick off. Live? So they're putting out like every 24 hours, they're popping out an episode. But what's really cool about that is because it's day to day.
Yeah. So how do you watch this if it's every day? Like how does someone maintain watching the show?
I mean,
do people like, but I'm being serious. Like, do people watch every episode or do they kind of just like, can you sort of like watch one every 3 episodes?
For myself, because I'm not watching it live, I don't get it until a little bit after.
Right.
it drops in the UK.
Yeah.
So like I'll binge a couple at a time. Like at nighttime I'll watch like 2 episodes and then like, so I just take my time through it. But over in the UK, it's a show that's like an every night type show. It's almost like watching a late night TV, right? Where it's like Jimmy Fallon's on every single night. And it's for an hour. And so it's like every night in the UK, people are watching and voting and staying abreast of all the drama. And what's wild
Monday
about
through
it...
Sunday. Monday through Friday?
Monday through Friday.
Okay.
What's wild about it is that the contestants are on the show, and because it's live, they have their Instagrams that are blowing up, and they don't know it. And then they'll come back and have like millions of followers because the people on Love Island crush numbers.
That's crazy.
They put The Bachelor to shame numbers wise. Like you'll see people who walk off with like, past Hannah Brown, Tyler C type numbers.
5-6 million.
Yeah, like 4, like 3-4 million. Oh yeah. Wow. And so the idea of going on the show and not knowing what's happening, people's opinions on the outside of you, they have no idea.
Granted, it seems like when you're doing things like live like that, there's so much less room for like editing stuff. So it's
that's
like
what I was gonna say. So I think
you get more real depictions.
I think
of people.
one of the reasons
they're in a reality TV show, but
I think one of the reasons why I really like the show so much is because sure, it's technically reality TV, but when you're putting an episode out every single day, you're actually not getting this like crazy edited, planned out thing as much. You're actually seeing people's real responses, the drama actually happening in real time. And in general, I don't feel like it is often at all where there's ever like a villain on the show. Someone will make a mistake, there'll be fallout, but then they repair it.
And it's probably just on to the next thing.
And it's on to the next thing. And so you don't typically like leave the show being like, oh, that person was the worst and they were horrible. It's a little bit like, oh, these are my favorites. I loved them. But that's kind of, it's not, it doesn't feel as like vitriol and like planned out. We gotta have a villain, we gotta have a hero.
So yeah, I guess how would you recap that if you were doing it? I mean
every day it's like, it's just too much. Like it's just too much TV for my brain.
That's crazy.
Honestly. It's too much TV for my brain.
Wow. Okay, interesting. I mean, granted, you could do it and you could do 2 episodes a week and you would just kind of cover whatever's happened.
It's just more like the amount of like watching that much reality TV. Feels like my brain might explode.
That's a lot.
I'm like, I need some calm app through it, some meditative time.
Granted, the 1 hour a night is nice after just coming off of the season of The Bachelorette where we had like a 2-hour finale and then the next day a 3-hour finale.
And then Bachelor in Paradise twice a week for 2 hours each.
That's basically the same amount of time,
honestly,
though, Jess.
It's
like 4 hours,
Maybe we will.
5 hours.
You never know. Maybe we decide to dive into it because I do know that show is the love of Evan's life. I have never seen the man.
That's so funny.
He watches that show and he falls in love with a couple immediately. And it is like, he'll be on the floor watching it.
Yeah.
Just like bawling watching this show. I'm like, you won't cry during our conversations, but you watch Love Island and he gets so invested in these couples and he's like, I believe that it's true love, and like is just so invested.
Interesting. I have never seen a single episode in my life, so I might just have to do it.
I will stand by forever. Okay, I watched part of the first season of Love Island USA and I was like about it, but I heard that it just keeps getting better and better. I heard this last season of Love Island USA was really good, but I am like a Love Island UK fanatic. I've been watching it since the second season many years ago when it came out. And it's just so good. It's so good. All of the iterations, Love Island Australia, all of it. It's fantastic. Everyone's so fun on the show too. And there's just constant, they know how to do it. Like I said, they did the Casa Amor thing where they drop the new bombshells in the villa constantly. Like
new bombshell has entered the villa.
The new bombshell has entered the villa. Like it's just fantastic.
Interesting. I do think I am so overwhelmed. When you said that there's an episode every day, I'm like,
no, it's one of those things where it's like, if you're watching it, you just have to go in and be like, okay, like this might be our new show and I'm going to casually watch it when I want to watch it.
Yeah.
But it's a show that I do feel like you can pop in and out of because so many things are changing that like you could miss a full relationship over 2 episodes and there's a
Right.
brand new relationship that's
Right.
like a full breakup and now they're fully invested in someone else.
Well, that might become Jess and Evan's show. Might become our Love Island recap show.
We'll see.
That might be what you're hearing. But
We'll
I think
see.
look, sometimes for some of these questions, like there aren't solid answers to. Like a lot of these things are at exploration in progress. So I think it's like you don't know what show exactly.
So
you guys are gonna talk
that's the
about or
game plan, and
what
like
happens.
of course, I just wanted to say too, leading up to it, like I'll be posting about it. I'll be letting everyone know like when we figure out exactly what show we're going to do and have like specific release dates and everything. But yeah, it'll be right after. And yeah. Okay, Broad Squad, quick pause. So if there's one thing in life you really don't want to be loosey-goosey with, it's your birth control prescription. But listen, we get it. Sometimes life has other plans and standing in line at the pharmacy or making it to a doctor's appointment to talk about your prescription might not be at the top of your priority list for the month. That's where Favor comes in, the digital service providing you easy access to birth control.
The service that we have shared about forever and that you know and love as the Pill Club is now Favor. They've got over 4,000 5-star reviews. They carry over 120 FDA-approved brands, and they ship to all 50 states. Most brands of birth control are actually free with insurance or Medicaid, and prices start as low as $6.99 per pack without insurance. Favor delivers birth control to your door for free in discreet packaging, along with other self-care extras.
No more waiting in line at the pharmacy or trying to find time in your work schedule to make it to a doctor's appointment. Favor lets you handle everything easily from your own home. And because birth control is not exactly the most simple subject to understand, you'll even have access, personalized access, to their licensed medical team via text to walk you through the entire process. Right now, when you go to heyfavor.com/chatty, Favor is offering a $10 donation to bedsider.org for every Chatty Broads listener who becomes a patient. Your donation will help low-income individuals get access to birth control through bedsider.org. That's HEYFAVOR.com/chatty, heyfavor.com/chatty to get your first birth control care package and donate to help more individuals in need of affordable birth control. Remember, heyfavor.com/chatty. You must use the link to make a donation. So I used to think that eating out was the ultimate treat, but honestly, no. You want to know what the actual dream is? Cooking something delicious in your own kitchen with fresh ingredients that taste like it could have been made in a restaurant. Oh, and it doesn't cost a fortune. And there are almost no dishes afterwards. If it sounds like there's no way a meal like that could possibly exist, then listen up, because you're going to want to hear all about HelloFresh.
Oh, HelloFresh is the dream partner when it comes to mealtime. Literally, the hardest part of the whole process is you have to pick out what you want to eat from their menu. They've got over 30 different recipes every week to choose from. Once you have made your selections, HelloFresh sends you pre-portioned, partially prepared ingredients and easy-to-follow recipe cards right to your door. And they make home cooking easy and fun again. The meals are ready in minutes, and you actually save money compared to eating out. And you can save money from grocery shopping because you never have leftover ingredients. So all those are reasons to switch to HelloFresh.
Okay, so the reason I love cooking with HelloFresh, or I guess one of the reasons really, is that it lets me get experimental in the kitchen. Okay, we all know that I'm no expert chef. I've spoken about this before. I tend to stick to the few recipes in the kitchen that I know and I have ingredients for, and they're decent. But with HelloFresh, their recipes are foolproof, and because they supply everything you need, you don't have to worry about being wasteful. You only get exactly what you're going to use. It's allowed us to try so many new dishes and cuisines at my house that I know I never would have been able to figure out how to cook on my own. So thank you, HelloFresh.
Go to HelloFresh.com/chatty65 and use code chatty65 for 65% off plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/chatty65 and use code chatty65 for 65% off plus free shipping today.
I think that is a good segue into the next question that like a ton of people have, which is when exactly is our podcast over? Which is like, I guess, another thing that we just kind of have to work out. it's going to be shortly after Paradise ends. So if we've done our calculations right, like probably the first week of November. But I feel like depending on what we've covered, just in terms of like, we want to have like fan favorite guests on, we want to have a final date night episode. So like maybe it'll be like another week or another episode or two after, or like another few episodes after Paradise finale. So
Yeah.
I would say sometime in the first 2 weeks of November.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, you know, we're going to be doing our best to be communicating with all you broads, like, you know, when we know when the final episode of Bachelor in Paradise is ending and what the schedule is going to be as we finish up.
Question is so sad.
Oh my
This
God,
person
what?
said, anyway, you guys will decide not to do this. My heart is broken. I feel like I'm losing my best friends. I'm just so sad.
Oh my gosh.
Well, okay, I will say this. If you like bros and you like broads, there's going to be one host from each of those starting a podcast immediately. So there is that. You're not losing all your friends.
That just makes me, but I so appreciate that so much. Like, it means so much. And I'm so sorry for, those feelings of loss. Like, you and I were talking about behind the scenes, and we mentioned it on Tuesday's episode. It's like when you have your podcast or your show that you watch and it comes to an end, like there's no way around it to say like it sucks. Like, it sucks.
Yeah.
And yeah, this wasn't obviously, like, again, like we discussed in Tuesday's episode, this wasn't a decision that was carried out lightly, and we feel confident about it. And like we said, we also wanted to dock the ship. And
I don't think that if we like decided to continue for another couple years, like, not because we hate working together or anything like that, but I think as we were talking about, it's just doesn't feel right in our timing and like whatever's calling us right now, whatever that may be. So I feel like if we just continued to keep on keeping on, I feel like there would be like a loss of this like authenticity or this sort of like pull that I think made our show so good, honestly, in the first place. And I would hate to see that. I would hate to feel like it was just kind of like meh.
I also feel like then there's like a three-way thing going on, right? It's like we're not then honoring ourselves.
Yeah.
We're not honoring each other, and then we're not honoring the broads as listeners when we're not putting out this authentic product.
What would be the reason then to continue, right? It would be either as like a money grab or to try to like make people happy, neither of which are like not going to be very fulfilling. But I'm being serious. Like, I do feel like for the people that are really bummed out, I totally understand. And also, like, there's still going to be content coming out, like from Jess and Evan, and I feel like that's, I don't know, something to look forward to. So people also asked, like, will you and
We're going to do our best.
People also
No
asked,
one can replace Becca, but we're going to do our best.
well, people did ask, will you and Gray ever make appearances on your guys' podcast? I don't know. Will we?
They have been banned and blocked. No, I mean, of course, you know that and that's my thing too. It's like, going into this, I never want to make that promise because I want to be able to give you and Grayston your space and not be like, so I'm expecting you to show up on this one, this one, this one, and this one. It's like the door is always open, and that's a fact. It's just more like I also then want to respect your time and space if you're like, hey, I need a break here for a moment.
What's funny though is I've just realized lately, like,
being
people
a
have been
guest?
asked, I just love being a guest on someone else's show. It's like there's no commitment, there's no like, it's just kind of like all the fun parts of having a podcast, to be honest. Like, I've guested on a couple podcasts recently. I went on Craig's. I went on...
That was such a good episode, by the way.
So
I listened to
fun.
it.
I love him. Went on Craig's. Went on Abby's. I think there was someone else. I'm going to go on Lena's soon. And
you're going to go on Lena's.
yeah, I'm going to go on
that'll
Lena's.
be really good.
We just have to nail down a date. But yeah, it's like I just am having fun, like being on other people's podcasts, because it's just, you just get to like chat and they're in charge of coming up with what you want to talk about. And it's just sort of like, I don't know, that's fun.
It's almost a little bit like reality TV.
Yeah, it totally is.
You're showing up
Totally.
as you, and you have like a producer asking you questions and you're answering them. And like, you're like, I get to now flex and be funny and fun and answer the questions in a fun, exciting way. 1,000%.
Yeah, and there's kind of no pressure. I don't generally look and see. Oh my God, although I looked at the comments on Community Surface, Craig's thing, and I didn't know there were so many incels on the comment thread.
Wait, you mean on the YouTube?
No, like on he has like a Community Service Podcast Instagram account.
Oh, okay.
And everyone on it was just like, pretty girl, but she like, ew, look at those armpits. Like, it was like nothing. And I haven't seen anything like that in a long time.
Get out of
And it was just like
here.
literally like 20 guys just commenting with the razor emoji. I know. It was actually
What?
kind of like, it kind of shook me.
Craig, it's time to
Craig?
go on a rampage rant
I'll
on
come
one
back
of
on
your reels.
podcast now, tomorrow. So
I feel like Craig's literally even, maybe my memory, there's like random trauma memories that come in and out of like different dramas or whatever, but I feel like there was something that went down where someone was shaming you for your body hair, and Craig went on his Instagram stories and tagged that person, whoever it was, and was going off on them. And I remember, I forget who it was. It was someone who, whose like brother.
Oh, it was Jesse James Decker's brother who did it, but I don't even think they associate with each other anymore. There's a lot of drama in that family.
Oh,
but,
okay.
it was Eric. No. It was, yeah, whatever her brother's name is.
And Craig.
But maybe it was Craig. Maybe it was Craig who went off on
No,
him.
it was
Yeah,
Craig.
it
No, I
was?
know that. I just wasn't sure who it was. He was going
no, that
off
was
on.
Jesse James
No,
Decker's
Craig,
brother.
I was
In case you guys don't know, it was a few years ago, and her brother, he like posted on his story. It was so aggressive. He went on his story, posted a photo of me that I had posted in a dress, and he was like, he just went off and was like, "This is disgusting. Like, I would never like want to be with a woman who looks like just went off."
and it
then
was
of course
so
people
random
were sending it to
because
me.
it wasn't like you two had any drama. There was no.
He literally didn't know who I was. He literally like probably came up on his Explore page or someone sent it to him, and then it was just like, ew, I'm gonna rant about this. He was like, some things are like not okay, like, and went crazy. And then I was like, dude, that like it had me shaking, like it was unbelievable. And so I was just like, dude, this is not cool. And he like doubled down, was just like, I'm sorry, like some things I'm gonna call him, like as I see him, like some things are disgusting and like whatever. And it was crazy. But then he did end up, about a year after, actually, he messaged me and was like, hey, I just wanted to tell you, like, I'm really, really sorry. Like,
really?
Yeah. And I know that within that time, like, he had a daughter that was born, and he was just like, I'm really sorry. Like, I want to make amends with people that I've hurt in my life, and like, I shouldn't have done that. And he messaged me and apologized to me like a year after, which was,
okay.
it meant a lot. I was just like, thank you. So he came back later and like, wanted to make things right.
Okay.
Yeah, that was crazy though. So Craig went
I was
off.
like, was this a fever dream? But okay, yeah, no, Craig went on his Instagram and he was tagging him. And I remember Craig, in Craig fashion, going off.
So
and I
funny.
remember having this moment, because I think that was like, we were still new in our relationship with Craig.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, oh, family.
He's a real one.
That's our brother. He's like defending Becca, like publicly going off. It was
I
like,
love
brother
Craig so
Craig.
much. Oh, I adore him. But yeah, so I've enjoyed going on other people's podcasts. By the way, a lot of people have brought this up, and I thought it was kind of a fabulous idea. People want to do a final merch drop. And I was just thinking maybe we could do something and do Chatty Broads forever or something like
Oh,
that.
that's
I think
really
people
cute.
would love
That would be really fun.
yeah.
That would be like Chatty Broads and then like an expired stamp on it. Just kidding.
Canceled.
You know what I was thinking? I was like, oh my gosh, all of our like
Not
the Chatty
renewed.
Broads merch is like vintage now.
I know.
It's a collector's item.
Yeah, it's a capsule. I know. I know. Here's another one. Yeah, it's funny that people ask, like, would you ever go on Jess and Evan's podcast as a special guest? It's like, Would I ever? Like, sure.
Yes.
Yeah, why not?
We're all good here. We're all good here.
Also, a lot of people... Interesting question, too. Someone asked, what's happening to the Chatty Broads socials? Can one of you reuse them for the next pod? Potentially. Haven't really thought about that.
I haven't broken that one down quite yet.
Negotiations
Yeah.
can always happen. And a lot of people, too,
It's going to become Ruth's Instagram.
I buy it off Jess, and I just turned it to Ruth and Frank.
It's just Ruth. No, not even Frank. It's just Ruth. Ruth is like, I need my own space, baby. It's my time to shine.
Oh my God. Woo. People also said, would you consider doing a final IRL live show before the end? No, not enough time to plan that. Sorry.
Yeah. Maybe one day, you know what?
Maybe we did a live reunion.
A live reunion would be great. Or honestly,
cool.
like Evan and I have talked about doing some shows, and obviously, you know, would love to have you as a guest.
The IRL live shows are already in the works. Okay. But no, with Chatty Broads, not before the end of the podcast. A lot of people too asking about Chatty Bros, and to be honest, that I can't answer that. I don't think they have plans to keep going, but I don't even think they've fleshed that out.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But I was just thinking the other day, like, and I'm just going to tell them both, like, if they wanted to, they probably could do a Patreon with just even a couple episodes a month.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of questions on here that are like, bros, what about Chatty Bros? Evan and Gray, what's happening? What's happening with Chatty Bros? Chatty Bros ending too? What's happening with the bros? Will Chatty Bros still be a thing?
That's going to make them feel so happy to know that everyone was asking.
What's happening with Chatty Bros?
Honestly, it has been...
Will Chatty Bros live on?
Like Becca and I have been saying, you know, this is more of a recent conversation with us, but there has been, you know, there's so many layers to it that go just beyond the actual sitting in front of the microphone with like contracts and all that stuff. So it's like, there's been so much time put into talking about Chatty Broads that, yeah, we haven't even... I kind of always looked at it as like a full thing, but the boys can talk about what they might have planned in the future, something maybe potential. We'll talk to them about it.
Someone said, can you revisit your conversation about faith in a future pod? And I think definitely, maybe we should just make a mental note to put up a post on our Chatty Broads Instagram and ask specifically for the intention of like, what would you like us to cover?
Yes.
And then we can also see, I think what's fun about doing that too is the most like comments will shoot to the top, so we can kind of see versus doing like a question box.
Oh,
we
that's
can
a great
kind of
idea.
see what excites people the most as a
Great
community.
idea. So have everybody say what they want and then to like it if they...
Yeah,
Okay.
and then we'll naturally see those float to the top, I think.
That's a great idea. But absolutely would love to revisit the faith conversation.
Yeah. People are here, and I can let you scroll through too. Someone asked, just a few people have asked, Becca, are you still doing ads and stuff on Instagram? And yeah, I don't have any other plans right now. I really don't know what's going to happen like in the next couple of years. I legitimately like don't have any plans, and that's not me just saying that. Like I don't know. So yeah. Don't know if
you could create a dream scenario for yourself, do you have one, or is kind of the dream scenario just not having any plans and just being able to feel for the first time honestly in a really... I was thinking about your journey and feeling a little overwhelmed just thinking about your journey. I was like, Becca went on a reality TV show, almost straight off of a reality TV show, was about to the bombardment of that new life experience and all these followers and all those transitions and interviews and all that, planning to go on the next reality TV show. You get pregnant, massive life shift. We start the podcast. You have
I was
the little
also,
one.
before even I got pregnant, I wasn't even sure if I was going to do Paradise. And I actually was like, I don't talk about this a lot because it sort of feels weird, but like I was legitimately like, had just got signed on with like an acting agency. Like I was started doing classes. I gotten literally my first audition I ever went to.
Meryl Streep.
Yeah, my first audition I ever went to, I did get a call back for. I was really excited.
For real?
Yeah, and that went really well. Like the second audition.
Can you say what it was for?
It was just for like a soap. It was for what's one of the big soap operas that's
Like
still
All
around?
My Children?
Or like his Days of Our Lives is
Days
still,
of Our Lives.
That one's not still on.
I don't know. As the World Turns.
There's like one of those big ones, like General Hospital. I don't know if that's still
General
around.
Hospital.
I don't know if that's still around. It's one of the old. It was one of the. What's one of the oldest soap operas
All
ever
I'm
that's
thinking
still
about
around?
is Days of Our Lives and All My
I
Children.
think it might have been Days of Our Lives.
Okay.
It was like a show like that,
that's
and I got a call
cool.
back for that, and I was so excited. I really crushed that one. I'm not gonna lie. And then like the second audition I ever went on for was for Lil Dicky's show, and I auditioned for the role of his girlfriend, and I actually got to read with him and like go back and forth with him in that audition. And I got
for real?
Yeah. And
that's a really good show.
Yeah, no, I know. And
Andrew Santino's on that show, who I love.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It took a long time to make because I did that audition back in beginning of 2018. But yeah, and like that audition went pretty well, and I got good note because they like send notes, to your agent after, and they were like, she was like really charming and great. Like we just like don't feel like she's like right for this role. And I also auditioned for like this Netflix show too, for like I was going out for like big auditions because it was
I'm shook right now. I remember you saying that like you dabbled, but I did not know that it was like proper like this.
Well, it was kind of like it was lucky because I had come off of The Bachelor, but honestly, like a lot of people were like, well, actually I had a meeting with CAA. I was actually like, and luckily I had the connection of Gray's dad because I started dating Gray in like February, and immediately like his dad was down to like give recommendations and stuff. But yeah, luckily there was a couple agents who were like a fan of the show and were like, oh yeah, like you have on screen whatever. So I was going out for those auditions, and normally if you go out for an audition, like you don't get to audition for those kind of roles, like big roles.
That's why I'm like in shock when you're saying that right now, because it's like especially first like early auditions.
Yeah, so
holy smokes,
that was really cool. And then I just got pregnant, and then like nothing came.
Would you ever try to do that again?
For sure. Well, and with this show that I've been co-writing for, which is so cool, and we did just get turned down we took it to Eva Longoria's studio, and it did get turned down, but now we're going in talks with other studios.
Here's
right
my
now.
thing though, when you had posted that. Close friends.
Yeah, close friends.
I'm like, do you realize that you just had, like, that's the wildest opportunity ever. Like, the fact that
to be sitting in a meeting with her with wet hair, being like, oh, hey guys, what's up? Like
that's already 1 million steps forward.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. So, but
that's like proper Hollywood business, baby.
But with that show, I mean, if anything, my dream with that show is like, I just want to make the pilot. Like you don't realize with this stuff, like with shows and movies, it's like, it's so rare that something gets written and then makes it all the way to like actually airing as a season. Like thousands of shows get turned down and nothing happens with them. But yeah, my dream with this one is like, I would love to just have the pilot get made. But if the show does happen, like I would be starring in it. So I would be like the role.
So is that like a non-negotiable where you're like, I will be the lead?
Well, that wasn't like so it's kind of funny. an agent, a former like just Instagram ad agent, who they are. Like from what's it?
Okay, yeah.
Only does Instagram deals normally. He was like, hey, I had a guy reach out to me from this production, like they produce TV shows, whatever. They're looking for people to collaborate with to create shows like loosely based on like their life experience. And when we're talking loose, I'm talking very loose. Like none of the things in the show like are really like about me, but it's just kind of like, I guess you would call it like the spirit of me. You know how like, you know how La Croix is like peach flavored, and you're like, maybe a peach was next door when they made it. That's kind of how this show is to me. Like it's sort of, Becca was nearby. Yeah, it's sort of, we thought of her when making this is kind of what it is. But I had a meeting with the producer, and he was just like, tell me about yourself. It's kind of like the Bachelor audition, where it was like, just talk about yourself. And I was like, well, let me tell you.
Let me tell you. Do you got a couple hours?
Yeah, and basically like his whole thing, and he actually, come to find out, he and Gray's dad have known each other for a long time, didn't know that they had that connection, was cool. But he was basically just like, yeah, I think we can make you a star. Like, let's make this show, and like, and it was funny with the writer when we were going over the show pitch, because you have to like, the writer and I have to like pitch the show to studios and stuff like that. So when we were going over the show pitch, you know, you go over the cast of characters, and the character's name is Annie, and it's like, Annie, and she was like, you know, think like this actress or this actress, and he's like, no, when we do the pitch, you're gonna say think Becca Martinez. Like, we're not gonna have like someone else, like it's gonna be Becca playing this character. Whoa. So I'm like, okay,
you're like, not gonna argue with that, good sir.
So I mean, again, who knows what happens with that, and also like, even if it gets picked up by a studio, this is the kind of thing where it can be like 3 or 4 years in the future, something might happen. But all that being said about the acting thing, it's like, yeah, I'm definitely open to it.
I would love to see you start going out for auditions. Oh my God. The idea of you being on like our last episode where you're like, I just, you know, I'm wanting to battle those feelings of potential jealousy. It's like Evan and I recap reality TV until we die, and Becca becomes the next Ana de Armas. You're like the red carpet premieres, and we're like, Bachelor season number 721, darling.
Yes. Well, I would know how to handle the PR, that's for sure. It would be, yeah. I don't know though. I am quite like, I'm not a diva, but I have a hard time with people telling me what to do. Like I've done some commercials before, like since The Bachelor, you know, because they're like, oh, I want Bachelor Becca Martinez doing the commercial for Brita or whatever. And it is really hard for me for someone to be like, do it again. Okay, do that again.
You're like, I'm not doing it again.
Do that again, but do this. And I'm like, I just did that, you know? And they're like, oh, but more of this. And I'm like, but that wasn't enough? Like, it's...
Right.
I don't know if I can really handle that environment, so we'll see.
Maybe the stage calls to you.
Maybe have been thinking
the Broadway
lately,
stage.
I have been thinking lately. I'd like to. I was legit last week looking up like auditions at like the Long Beach Playhouse, because I was like, sounds fun.
You should.
I hate theater people though. I'm gonna be
how. Honestly, dare you?
Well, I was in theater all of high school, but I hated theater.
Do you know
people.
what's so funny is a couple of years ago I started looking up like if there were local musicals.
Oh yeah,
because I was just like, it just sounds fun. Like, it just sounds fun.
Well, guys, you may not see us on the podcast, but Jess and I may be on the stage together. I mean, how fun would that be, though? For real.
Oh, my God.
Like,
I live for the theater.
One of my best friends growing up, we got double casted as Cruella, and that was a blast. Like, she was my best friend.
Oh, you got proper double casted. You were understudy.
No,
because that sounds like it could be some drama in the streets.
No, it was a straight double cast.
That's so fun.
And she and I both were Cruella, and it was like, I was so fun. Yeah, it was amazing. But anyway,
can you imagine if we got in a role together?
That would be so fun.
Like, you would be an ingenue energy, and I'm definitely like evil aunt.
That's what to be honest, I always wanted to play those characters, you know, like
the fun, like
the villainous, like over
those
the
are
top.
Super. You get the laugh a lot of times
it's
too.
It's just fun.
And it's also less pressure because you're not on stage all the time with all the lines and all the songs.
Or you are, like when you're Cruella de Vil, like when I was 10, and that was the best of both worlds. I'm like, I'm I'm the evil villain star of the show. That's awesome.
Like, please.
Yeah, I did always want to play those characters, but yeah, instead in high school we had like a couple. My teacher was really into the '60s shows, and so I always got cast as like, ding,
Yep.
you know.
Yeah, I was the bad person.
It was the bad people.
But I didn't want that.
Dude,
because
that's
because of the pressure a lot of times too. It's just fun. It's
also
just fun.
Like you get to really like play. You get to be an actor.
I just also something that your girl can't do for the life of her is dance.
Well, we know that. We both have to be in a starring role so that everyone else dances around us.
But a lot of the shows that I'd be doing is the lead would have a lot of dancing dancing parts, or at least not even intense dancing. It was just constant on stage singing and having to just do a few moves. Yeah. And I can't do even just a few moves. I'm like, if you gave me one song, then I can just learn maybe the steps to that. And I'm not going to do it well, but at least that's one to focus on. When it was like a lead where you're like, oh, there's 15 songs and you have to learn a few steps for all of these. No way. Absolutely not. A hard pass.
Oh, that's
that was always my sadness of musical theater, because I loved it, but I can't dance.
I'm a straight show girl, because I mean, like, I won't say that I'm the world's worst singer, but like,
you can carry a tune,
but I can't hit the notes, if you know what I mean. I carry a tune and can't hit the notes.
Sure.
So I prefer the straight shows.
Mm-hmm.
Also, no, actually, some of my favorite shows ever are musicals. My favorite show of all time is Fiddler on the Roof. It's a good one. Yeah. I love a lot of musicals, but yeah, I got to go for the straight shows. Anyway.
All right, well, tune in to see if Becca hits the stage.
Yeah, who
or
knows?
your
Maybe
screen.
I'll become a star. But yeah, I don't have any podcasts. Some people are asking about podcast stuff. I don't really like. I threw together like an outline, but I'm like, I'm not going to do that right now. I don't really know what I want to do.
Let's see here.
See a lot about the bros.
So much about the bros.
I know, it's sweet.
Okay, broads, one more quick pause here. So if you were to ask me, or anyone, what our dream shoe is for everyday wear, for everyday life, you need a dream shoe that works with your reality, something that's comfortable, affordable, long-lasting, super cute, goes with literally anything in your closet. If you haven't already fallen in love with Rothy's, broads, you're about to, because it's that dream shoe we're talking about.
Rothy's, they make some of our favorite shoes here at Chatty Broads, and we love that they have stuff for the bros and the kiddos too. They, of course, have their two best sellers for women, the point and the flat. They have endless 5-star reviews online. They've been featured in pretty much every magazine ever. And they're the perfect shoes. They strike that delicate balance of being trendy, but they're still so classic, so you can keep wearing them for years and years with nearly any outfit, and they always work.
And by the way, she literally means years and years, because Rothy's has done something really amazing, broads. All of their shoes are totally machine washable. So when your pair starts to look a little loved, you just toss them in the wash and you pull out a practically new pair after just one wash. And let me say this, as a parent, having kids' shoes from Rothy's has been a game changer, because we all know how dirty the little kids' shoes can get, especially after school, after daycare. I throw the shoes in the wash. They're looking good as new. Bless.
Get stylish shoes that are versatile and durable enough to wear all the time with Rothy's. And to get $20 off your first purchase, go to rothys.com/chatty. That's rothys.com/chatty to get $20 off your first purchase of Rothy's. rothys.com/chatty.
So, I've always loved seaweed, okay? As a snack, it is unmatched. But until recently, I did not know that it was also one of the hero products in my favorite skincare brand, Osea. If you listen to us often, you already know how much we love Osea's clean, vegan, cruelty-free skincare line that they've been perfecting for over 25 years, which means they really know their stuff when it comes to getting your skin to its healthiest and glowiest state.
Oh, they really do. And right now, this is the time you want to give your skin a little extra bit of TLC. The weather's changing. Here's where the seaweed comes in. Osea uses seaweed for its incredible anti-aging and moisturizing properties. All of their Undaria algae products are incredible. Their body oil, their body butter, Oh, both are enriched with the nutrient-dense seaweed to transform your skin and keep you glowing.
Okay, I know the word transform might sound like we're being a bit dramatic because, you know, we can be sometimes, but I swear to God, broads, this is the real deal. I use the body oil and the body butter after my daily baths, and I feel so soft and smooth. It's incredible. We've been saying this for a long time now. Becca and I have both been using Osea for years. It is by a mile my favorite skincare line, and you got to give it a try. Also, great gift idea for the upcoming holidays.
For clean body care that gives you facial skincare level results, you've got to try Osea. And right now we have a special discount just for our listeners. Get 10% off your first order site-wide with promo code Chatty10 at OseaMalibu.com. You'll get free samples with every order, and orders over $50 get free shipping. You're gonna want it all. Go to OseaMalibu.com, promo code Chatty10.
This is, we'll just be only recapping with Evan or talking about other topics too. Just to answer this, you know, we're going to be doing reality TV recapping, but I think with that comes conversations about other topics within the reality TV recap. I would imagine that that's just going to be our style. Truth of the matter is this: my sweet, sweet dear husband was not on The Bachelor and doesn't have all the intel or the historical knowledge of Becca. So it's going to be some silly, fun recapping, and then probably also conversations about a lot of other things weaved throughout that.
Somebody also brought up that you never told the story about the girl on the Hawaii beach, and I wanted to say that good memory, first of all, to this person. Secondly, we will be doing a final date night episode.
We should talk about that on the date night.
Yeah, no, I think that's what we were saving it for. I was like, I want to hear like Gray's response to hearing this story for the first time.
It's very upsetting. I would also love to hear Evan's version of what happened.
Yeah, me too.
From his perspective, because he didn't see part of the conversation. He only got the end from her.
Yeah.
With himself.
And didn't you kind of shut up about it? Like after that, like you were kind of just upset and didn't really like talk a lot about it to him immediately after?
Yes, I did not talk because I was so upset about it. And then like we ended up bringing it up like a year later randomly. It came into my mind. I'm like, oh my God, do you remember that? And then we both shared our versions of what happened. And I was like,
wild.
I was really upset about that.
It's kind of, yeah.
He didn't do anything, by the way. No, this is another woman was.
We'll bring it up. The other woman.
It.
We'll bring it up on the date night.
Will you get matching tattoos?
Maybe.
Becca, here's the thing. Your tattoos are a little more sacred.
Well, then I also have like the random ones that I let like a drunk friend do on me. But
I'm like, as a tattoo person, I'm like, if Becca wants to tattoo her face on my breasts, I will be totally fine with that.
I got to I would definitely I would do a matching tattoo. We talked a long time ago about doing a rose with a microwave, but I don't think
I mean, that was the original idea, the rose with the microwave. We could do that. Or if the broads have any ideas of what we should get as matching tattoos, please feel free to send them over. Put it in the comments.
Yeah. I mean, the rose with the microwave, I think if done right, could be really, really, really cute.
It is fun. And it's a great conversation starter. You know, someone looks at that and they go, what in God's name is a rose covering a microwave? What does that mean?
Oh my God.
Should we have Tasha tattoo them on us?
No.
Can we get Tasha to come in?
Okay, let's get Tasha's dad to
come?
do them. No, I have it. Let's do like the best friend necklaces, but let's have one half Chatty and one half broads.
Oh, that's really cute.
Let's do that.
I like that a lot.
I will totally do that.
Okay, I'll do that. 1,000%.
You don't have any on your feet, do you?
I don't.
Well, we're gonna have to do them. We're gonna have to do a matching foot tattoo. I
have none on my
this
feet.
Location, like on kind of like the outside of the heel.
That is nice. That's gonna hurt, honey. It's gonna hurt.
I've gotten like pretty much every other part of my foot tattooed. This is the worst part when it rolls over your tendon there. It just feels weird.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it does not. It doesn't hurt that bad. Everyone makes such a big deal about the feet, but it's like any other tattoo. You've gotten every part of you tattooed.
I have to tell you though, the places where people get tattooed the most, like the spots that everyone's got a little tattoo on.
Yeah.
Those are the spots that hurt me the most.
Like where?
Like inside the wrist.
That seems so tender.
That hurts so, like that really bothered me.
That seems really tender.
I got very lightheaded during that process.
Well, that also has like the weird tendony thing. Like that rolls over the tendon like on the foot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Behind the ear. Hurts like hell.
That I believe that,
and tons of people have the little thing behind the ear.
Skull though.
It hurts.
Like that seems painful.
And then the rib cage.
Yeah, that's known to be painful.
I know, but that's I'm like, it's so funny that like the spots that are some of the most painful spots on the body are where everyone gets like their first tattoo. Like the top of the foot. Funny. I don't have one, but it's known to be one of the most painful spots to get tattooed.
I promise you, it's not that bad. It's really not. I mean, a tattoo's a tattoo.
I mean, I can do it.
Also, that's fine. So simple. We're not gonna like a rose with a microwave might be a little more in depth. But if we do like half a heart,
a rose with a microwave on the top of the foot would be painful. That requires some shading.
Yeah,
that's not just a single needle. That's an ouchie moment.
Yeah, I could also put half of it on my little anklet, but that's all for dead people. So that's a little weird to put our podcast.
Oh, I'm like, oh no.
Anyway, I love that.
I think that's a very cute idea.
Can we get it with a little keychain like thing like attached? Like, can we get like a little keychain tattooed to the like half of the heart?
I will, whatever design you want, I will put on my body.
Okay, that's easy.
No questions asked.
Okay.
Like I said, you want a full portrait of your face? I'll do it.
Okay.
Just tell me where.
Okay.
There might be a limit of where. Right. If you want it literally on my throat, then I might be like, no.
Yeah.
But if you wanted your face on my back, I'd consider.
Okay.
There are no bounds.
Okay.
There are no bounds.
Then yes. The answer is yes.
Oh, some of these are really sweet.
We could have someone tattoo us while we're on the episode. I
think that's a great idea.
I know someone. I know someone who she's done both of my cross tattoo and this tattoo, and she found me through Chatty Broads.
Oh my gosh.
And messaged me and said like, hey, love Chatty Broads. Like, I'd love to give you
that's amazing.
a free tattoo. And she gave me a free tattoo.
Her tattoos are gorgeous.
She's awesome. She's great.
They're so nice.
So maybe she would be down. We
Let
paid her to
know.
come, and yeah, that'd be fun.
That would be amazing. This is really sweet. What was the moment you knew? I'll combine this. What was the moment you knew you would both be friends forever?
Okay.
We're still searching for that moment.
No, I was gonna say like, well,
I'm genuinely trying to think of that.
Well, I was gonna say like this sounds fucked up, but I would say in the last few months.
Sure.
Like I genuinely didn't know before like how the podcast was gonna. This sounds so dramatic, but like I didn't know how the podcast was gonna come to an end, and I was like, oh my gosh, is this gonna like burn up in flames and like we'll never talk to each other?
I don't think it's dramatic. I think breaching that subject, like we were saying before, if one of us wouldn't have been on the same page. It's like we've explained, you try to be transparent with it. Like it is a business. So if all of a sudden one person's like, I'm done, that means the loss of business for someone.
Yeah.
So that's a big like, oh shit.
Yeah. And people do we were just talking about this the other day. People do weird stuff in business. Like people take, even people you think really, really well can take weird like left turns.
Yeah. And they say, don't get involved with friends in business. But
I made my friend through business. That's what's
special is I think that, and I wonder, and I do wonder and think about this often, is that really why it worked for so long?
Well, I do think it's kind of like, they say also don't, or maybe they don't. I say don't be roommates with a friend, like an already established friend. Mm-hmm. I think of it the exact same way. But I had a great friend who I've had a friend or two that I've quite nearly completely lost the relationship because of being roommates. And then I had like one really wonderful friend who we became friends from being roommates. Mm-hmm. Didn't really know each other. Decided like, yeah, I'm looking for a roommate. You're looking for a roommate. Let's do it. And a beautiful friendship formed. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's the same thing.
Yeah.
I really do. It's like you've got, yeah. You can't come in with like a narrative or a story about who the other person is beforehand. You know what I mean?
I fully agree. I think that specifically, yeah, and going into business and being like, okay, this is what we know of our friendship on a friendship level. It just changes when it does become business because there are serious elements to it.
Yeah.
So I think because we were able to start our relationship from business and like grow our friendship, then it was like, oh, so I'm excited to then have it be like, what is the relationship going to look like when there's no business?
Yeah, for sure. Or I think like with business or roommates, you have to go in with someone that is literally like family, where you've like been in screaming matches and haven't spoken, and like, all of that kind of stuff where you have literally, they've seen every side of you. So then you feel comfortable, like just being able to
totally
call it straight.
That's why I'm like, I don't feel nervous about starting. Like, I know I've joked about it, but I don't feel nervous about starting like business with Evan.
Well,
because
you've also done so much business with him. Like,
we've done
already.
we've been in business together for years, just in other facets as well. But I will tell you this, wouldn't have been able to have a business with him towards the beginning of our relationship, that's for sure. That would have probably ruined our relationship because we operate differently. It's over time and like learning like ways of communicating and understanding each other that now it's like, oh, it's really fun to do business together.
Well, and I know you guys even went through like, it wasn't quite because you're doing business together, but you guys went through growing pains like when we first started the podcast, because your relationship dynamic shifted because of like this new career move. And like
he was in the middle of going through a massive like loss, and all of a sudden we were super busy. And it was all of a sudden this full shift, because for numerous years before that, I had been staying at home with Ember and like taking a break from the business, and he had been so busy and providing financially everything for the family. So then all of a sudden when that dynamic swapped, that was a big shift. Mm-hmm. Definite growing pains, that's for sure.
Any kind of transition. Mm-hmm. It's not easy.
But I mean, as far as us being friends for forever, like I feel similarly. Because I think forever is the key word. You know what I mean? I think that it was like, no, I'm like, have felt like your friend through this whole thing.
Yeah.
And then I like remember when that feeling of friend shifted into like more best friend territory. Yeah. And I think that comes through hardships too. Like working through certain things, going through hard things together like that. And then I think when you're sitting behind a mic, we're having conversations that are not surface level often. So you're all of a sudden opening up and having these conversations, and I'm like, oh shit, I haven't had some of these conversations with the people I've been like closest with in my life for years. Yeah. And that takes it to that level. But as far as like friends forever, I feel similar, where it's like this locked it in, where I'm like, okay,
security.
It's a safe place.
I think there's different layers, because like, I think that, when Jess and I first started, or when you and I first like hung out together, there was instantly like a connection, where I was like, we can totally like be friends. Like we're on the same page. And I know probably like everyone says this about Jess when they meet her, but I also felt like it was like, like I bet everyone says like, oh, we could be best friends. But like I had this feeling, where I was like, oh, no. But like,
I don't always feel
right. That's what I was kind of alluding to. It was like, no, I got the vibe that I was like, you were like,
oh, immediately.
No,
I immediately, as soon as Evan and I got in the Uber, I remember being like, I feel like I get really close with Becca.
Well, and when you first, I'm going back and forth the audience and you, when you first asked me to do the podcast, mm-hmm. I remember both of us were kind of like, I don't remember if I said it or you said it, but someone was sort of like, let's not like do the thing where we like say we're going to do it and we don't. And maybe it was you. And I was just kind of like, no. I'm like,
oh, it was me.
And I was like, no, like I'm telling you, like I'm going to come and we're going to do it. Like I'm not just saying that.
So I remember being like, you don't need to placate me right now, because that's what I was feeling like, because I didn't know you well enough to know that you wouldn't lie to me about hovering when you meditate. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? like I did. So I'm like, okay, I don't want you to feel.
And look, I'm not so honest that if someone says, do you want to do it? I'm like, no, like I definitely will kind of beat around and be like, for sure, let's talk about it.
No, I remember being like, okay, I want to make sure that you don't feel like I'm pressuring you, or that like if you don't show up and we run into each other, that I'm going to be like, that bitch.
No, I think
it was like, all right, like,
I shifted my voice down an octave, and I was like, no, I'm going to come over to your house next week. Like, I'm not saying that. Like, I'm going to do it.
We were yelling over the Comedy Store transition music from comic to comic.
Yes. And I was like, no, I'm like, I'm gonna come over. I'm serious. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I do want to do this with you. So, anyway, I felt that mutual, like, no, we're on the same page here. I know we are. And then I do remember, like, it was probably during the pandemic or something where I was like, oh my God, like, Jess is the only person I text every single day. And we both are like the only person we'll respond to like within 3 business days. So
if you know me on a cell phone level, you know, I'm like, I get so overwhelmed. That's why I think I have a hard time with Instagram. I'm like, I get so overwhelmed with text messages, calls, just because I'm like, there's so much always in my head, and I have to like kind of keep myself steady. And so it's really not intentional that I like don't respond.
Yeah.
I just get so like focused on something. But yeah, you're one of the only people, and
I'll have like 15 unread texts, and I'm like, click on Jess's that's like 8th down, and then I'll listen to it and respond back, you know?
Yeah, no, we always were like, I'll always listen. It's like, it doesn't matter weekend. If I know that it's business or not business, I'm like, I'll listen to the message.
That's true, yeah.
And I think though, what part of that is too, is like the safety and the friendship, because...
Also urgency, though, because like we have also had to get back to each other, like
right. Well, I think that's how
within 7 business days.
Right. Well, I think that's how it started.
Right.
The back and forth. It's like, okay, I'm going to always respond because we started this urgency. It's like, again,
well, we are recording an episode on Wednesday, so we need to know what we're going to talk about on Wednesday, right?
But like also. Then in that, beyond then when it became not just about business, it was like, okay, I feel there's like then the safety and the friendship of like, okay, I know I could leave her on red for a month.
There's no pressure. So when the pressure's off, then
it's
you're like
when I could leave you on red for a month and you would totally understand.
Yeah. Right.
And that then it kind of alleviates that anxiety of like, okay, yeah, I can respond. I think sometimes the anxiety makes me then shut down and be like, I don't know what to say back. And
me too. When someone asks like, how have you been doing? They probably won't hear from me for like 4 months.
I'm like, I'm so sorry.
I just don't even know what to say, you know? Here, give it back to me. Let's
My
see what
dad
else
always
people
jokes
ask.
with me about it because I'll be like, you know, all of a sudden just like go dark, and he's like, will just then text me and be like, nice hearing from you. I'm like, I'm so sorry, Dad. I just was anxious about this, and that. And I just, you know, got caught up in emails, and then I just, yeah.
When are you going to share the name of your guys' show? That's also what people are asking about.
Okay, well, I will say that I'm going to be doing a little photo shoot here soon, working on some creative for the cover. So I thought it would be fun to share the name of the show in like the upcoming weeks.
Fun.
And once we have everything, you know, I want it to look pretty for everyone, right? And when it's aesthetically put together, and then we'll release it, maybe release a little trailer, all that. Like I said, I want to give definitive answers to everyone right now, but I also, it's still the final pieces are falling together, but the definitive answer I can give is that it will be happening either immediately or in the week or 2 following Chatty Broads.
Yay.
So, yeah.
Somebody just said, what about like a reunion tour?
I would love to do that.
In sometime in the future.
Just a couple live shows.
Just a couple casual
and now that, you know,
shows.
that we're a few years, like, you know, it's getting safer. I'm like, it would be so fun to do it in like live
in
venues.
person.
Yeah.
I know. I'm so
I get
glad.
real amped up. With a live crowd, you'll see a part of me that you've never seen before,
And
which is probably so obnoxious.
And to be honest, like, I think that the live show thing kind of freaks me out a little bit.
Yeah.
I like a performance, but like, I don't know.
But like an impromptu live.
Or like being on someone else's show. Because I've done like TV live things.
Yeah, it was
before.
like, you've done Jimmy Kimmel. Like, that's like the
doesn't bother
ultimate set of
me.
nerves to me.
I think it's like something about it being like our show, you know, like my show.
Sure.
Also, I'm so glad someone asked. They said, can you do a final Jessica and Yadu episode? I'll miss those. You bet your ass we can make that happen.
Oh, yeah.
That's all that I want.
That would be a really good, that's a fantastic
been
final episode. One of our
9
finals.
9 months since she read our charts. It's about damn time. I'm fiending.
That's true. And then also too,
She didn't mention us much on the bros episode.
You're like,
talking about them.
where am
Like,
I?
where do Jess and Becca come
Yeah.
into this reading?
we need a final draft because she was just talking about Evan and Grayston, and I feel like now that she will know that our show is coming to the close, maybe she can give us some good parting words.
That's kind of what
for
I'm
our
thinking. No,
future.
that's kind of what I'm thinking.
What if she gets on the mic and she's like, you guys should not be ending this. Your charts are screaming.
This is not
that
the
you
time to
should
make final
not be
decisions."
ending this. We're just like,
that would be crazy.
Okay.
But again, like I don't know. I don't feel like, I know that's a joke, but also like I do feel for like you at least that you're just like pivoting. But I don't feel like it's like your podcast career isn't ending. You're going to be sitting in front of this wall and on this couch might look different,
Yeah.
but like
no.
you know,
I mean,
it's
you're not here, which is a big difference.
yeah, well,
So let's not brush that aside and say that there's, but no, I'll be continuing to podcast for sure. And in similar lanes.
yeah.
I'm hoping to become the next host of The Bachelor.
Yeah, that'd be. I would support that.
Thank you.
I would support that. Someone said, "Is this possible financially? Can you both live without this income?" I mean, Jess is continuing on, but then also like I have my Instagram, and then Evan also has a full blown career, which people are also asking, like, well, is he going to be quitting his job?
Okay, so no.
he won't be.
Yeah, as far as like financial stuff goes, I mean, it's definitely a shift for us. Absolutely. I don't know how to put this. If people continue to support mine and Evan's podcast, then that will be a financial revenue source for us. If that goes away, then there definitely will be a shift financially for Evan and I, which is why, because, we hope everyone loves the podcast and continues listening to the podcast. But if that is not so, that is why Evan will not be quitting his job, but he will be continuing with his job. Also, Evan loves doing both. The thing that you got to know about Evan is the man loves to be booked and busy. He loves having a million things going on. That's when he is flying and happy. And Evan loves doing the podcast and is excited about that. Evan's also really fucking good at his other job.
Well, and also,
and I love like that he has this other job that brings him so much joy as well.
Also, like, Evan would probably lose his mind if he quit his job. He'd be like, okay, I'm going to golf for 2 weeks, and then he'd be like, I'm losing my mind. Why am I not working 60 hours?
I mean, the truth of the matter is if he did quit his job to do full-time podcasting, the people might like it because the amount of content that would be coming out. He'd be like, we have to record another.
He'd be like, well, I have 2 other shows actually on the side.
He's like, I'm guesting on 100 podcasts this week. I have my Patreon. I'm also going to be starting
he
a
could
YouTube.
give himself 60 hours of work.
No, that's true. He's like, I'm going to start a YouTube for us, a family channel. We're going to start putting out all this. I mean, it would be nonstop. And I would be like, does all of this work include me, though? Because I need to rest. I know you don't, but I do.
Well, and, also Jessica Lanyadu said on their Bros episode, if you didn't listen, she was basically like, Evan, stick with what you're doing. It's working for you.
I mean, and honestly, like proud partner moment. Like
he's killing it.
Is so good at what he does. It's wild. And he's been starting the past year, he's always worked with big artists, but this past year,
it seems like his career has blown up.
He is working with, and I can't name him, but like really amazing artists, and he's like really amazing. He's quite humble when he never talks about it, and I'm always like, can you brag a little bit? Because when we're at family dinners, I'm always like, so everybody, did you see that Evan did, or can I tell you about Evan doing this? Because he just will sit there and not say anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, fine, I'll share it.
Do you think that
take credit.
Do you think that maybe he gets a little overwhelmed with feeling like does he feel like, oh, I have a job that no one even knows what the job is that I do? Like no one even knows that this job is even a thing. Like
no, he's kind of always been, all the pressure he puts on is just on himself. He doesn't really care if other people give him any credit. It's always if he feels like what he's doing is valuable.
Is good enough.
So it wouldn't even really matter like what he was doing. It's the pressure. So he like won't share it. I'm the one who wants to use it as a bragging tool a little more.
Look at this.
I'm like, be proud of yourself, sir. And he's just like, I mean, I don't know. I'm like, say it. But yeah, I've been so proud of him.
People have also asked, it's funny too. Someone said, can Jess be more active on social media so we don't miss her? That's the first question.
I will tell you this much. I will do my damnedest. I really will. A lot of times when I will take like long breaks on Instagram, it's either one, because I am having a little bump in like my mental health. And one of the biggest ways that I can help regulate myself is to stay off social media.
Which is so good.
And genuinely, it's not even like, oh my gosh, don't look in the DMs. It's not even that. It's just the constant stimulation and
overwhelm of information and
exactly.
people,
and it'll just be like ringing in my head all day. So that's a lot of times why I'll step away from social media, is just like protect my brain. And then also too, when I am like having a hard time, if I'm just being perfectly honest, and I know this isn't the sexy answer, I get really sensitive. And I know this about myself. So, you know, for example, a couple weeks ago, I put a really cute little video out of Ember, and I received some comments that were like, in my opinion, like really hurtful. And I really retracted, and I'm like, no, that hurts too bad.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden posting something else scared me. And I was like, you know, like processing, like, do I want to put this out there? And I just had a million thoughts about it. And so sometimes I'm just like, I just want to protect that privacy when I feel like, I don't know. It's hard to explain.
No, I think it makes perfect sense.
But what I'm really working on in myself, and you are a pinnacle of this to me, and I've always been such a great example, is that even if you feel this way, even if you feel fearful, you really do an amazing job of living without fear and being willing to be authentic. And even if it's not received, that you're going to stand by who you are. And I live in a lot of fear, and I'm not going to put out something that's not authentic. So I'm then just not going to put something out.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm not going to then put something out fake that I don't mean, and like kind of put up this facade of like everything is good or like whatever if I don't mean it. But then if something is not good or I'm nervous about it, then I just will retract. And I'm really trying to like use you as an example as I move forward.
Yeah.
Is being like, not everybody's going to like you. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And it's important. And I want my daughter to have that as an example too. Like, I want my daughter to feel like she is living like this empowered part of herself who has boundaries and can speak truth and love and humor and not live in fear. And so that's something that I'm really trying to work on. And so,
honestly, I think your relationship to social media seems, at least from a distance, like pretty healthy. Like, it seems like this is like, I guess just within our relationship, like the healthiest relationship to social media like you've ever had at this point in your life.
I appreciate that. I definitely feel like the best I do, but I haven't been on social media.
But I mean, I think what you're saying is so good. And I think what I would have said in the past is I would have been like, well, share some of that, like share that you're feeling like overwhelmed or you're feeling sensitive. But to be honest, like that's really shifted in me where I've realized, unfortunately, that people will definitely take vulnerability and weaponize it against you and really try to poison it and twist it. And that's not to say never be vulnerable, but I have myself become much more selective about journeys that I'm sharing because, it's like some things just don't need to be shared.
That's true.
If you're not feeling led by the spirit to post, then don't,
Yeah.
And people get so much about like
Yeah,
about
like
you.
there's a podcast. I'll
in
say this.
long-form
I'm going to
content.
do my very best to make sure that like I'm posting about any updates or things that are going on, or if there's like, hey, this is what's coming out with the podcast or and like business type stuff. I think the reason sometimes I don't is because I don't then only want to post that on social media, because I know that is
Right.
so boring when it's literally just like, which is why I haven't posted ads. I think I have an ad maybe coming up in like a week, but I haven't posted ads in months because I'm like, I haven't been posting on
you don't
social
have any
media.
other content
So
to
I
share.
don't want to just post ads and be like, people be like, okay, just the ads and then the business stuff. It's like, no, I want to,
I had a thought for you though.
Yeah.
What if you didn't feel the pressure to add a caption? What about just with literally no explanation, just posting photos and videos of like what you're doing on the weekend,
That's
walking
nice.
on the beach, taking a picture of Ember in front of something, and just no caption, just sharing some pictures and videos of
That's
whatever
a really
you're doing.
nice idea.
Because people, I was just thinking, I'm like, what are people wanting? They get hours of you of us, every
Yeah.
week as it is. Like, but I think sometimes people just want a little snapshot into your life.
You're just going to get a ton of selfies of me. Just like thirst trap, selfie, thirst trap, selfie.
Yeah. But even people just love even like seeing a little. I think a picture paints 1,000 words. Even just a shot running on the beach or something like that. Just a little.
That's a
flick,
good
and
idea.
Just post it and then get back off the app. Because no one's gonna.
You're so good on social. Evan and I were talking about it the other day. We're like, listen, it's a special gift. And I know people will say like, oh, this is just, people make comments about like,
Sure.
oh, the kids these days and the influencers, and it's just nothing and da-da-da. It's like, we're on a reality TV show, so you got followers.
Yeah.
But like, there's a special skill set for social media, and like, that is one of your many gifts.
Thank
It's
you.
like, damn.
Thank you.
You always like know what to post or like the good take. I'm like, I don't even. It's just. So
I think
not my
I really
wheelhouse.
like, because I was like thinking about
It's
this
art.
recently. I think I really like psychology, like people with what I like to try, like, what do people, and I really like marketing and advertising for that reason. Like before I went to college, I was like, yeah, I'd really like to go into marketing and advertising because I really like, and then now I'm just like, oh my God, marketing and advertising is so fucking soulless, but I'm also like a part of it, and oh my God. But I've always been interested in it because I'm like, okay, how can we reach people, like what commercial makes me feel things, and like why does it do that, and then like what makes other people feel some type of way, so like I don't know, I've just always been interested in that part of it. But also I think that I just didn't get enough attention as a child, so I love getting attention from a lot of strangers on the internet. That is fun. And with that, someone asked, are you going to be posting more on social media? And I'm like, bitch, no, I will not be. What the heck? I feel like, too much social media.
Yeah.
I don't think there are really any other pressing questions, but if more come up, we can always answer them.
Yeah, it's, again, we wanted to keep this like, obviously we're going to have our favorites on,
Yes.
some of our favorite guests, and we're going to still be recapping Bachelor in Paradise, but want to keep it free flowing too. So it's like, if anything comes up, want to answer it, and we'll post on Instagram what you suggested.
Yes.
Great idea. Maybe topics,
Yes.
people on a hard post, and go ahead and like away on the ones that you are interested in.
Yes.
So that we can
And we're going to do
map
Jessica
out.
and Yadu anyway, because we want to hear about our
Obviously.
futures.
Obviously. Jessica is always such a gift.
And
I'm like,
Craig.
please more.
Craig has to
Craig.
come on.
Roz, it's spooky season, baby.
It
We're entering in Halloween. It's
is.
the perfect time to have Roz on.
You know who I was just telling people about the other day too was Portals from Hell girl. That was
Katrina
Weidman back on, but
Fantastic.
wild.
Fantastic.
And now I'm like, we gotta get some sort of stories prepped for Roz.
I know. We got to get some things
Pressure's
prepped for Roz. Also, I love a Mark Wahlberg visit.
I know. He sent me the sweetest message.
I saw that
Today,
he sent it.
yeah.
I have to open up the message.
It's so nice. He's so nice.
Mark Wahlberg is the loveliest One of the loveliest people I've ever encountered. And he, like, when you and Gray got engaged, he sent flowers. Like, I mean, that man is the real fucking deal, people. Support him.
No.
He's amazing.
Wait,
amazing.
Why don't we have him on to like break down some Bachelor in Paradise stuff? Why don't we like make him watch an episode or two and come on for that?
I just had chills. Oh my God, as a host behind the scenes, yes.
And also to give his take on their dynamics and stuff like that, you know? Like,
that is such a good idea. Oh my God.
Let's do it.
Okay, Mark, you hear this? We know you listen. We're calling you.
Yes.
We're texting you.
Start watching Paradise now.
Please, yes, please start watching.
Start prepping. Get the backstories.
Love that idea. All right, well, good things a cooking. We love you, broads, and
Chat soon.
we'll chat soon.
Mwah.